Hey there, campers! Whether you are an experienced camper or just a beginner, you probably have an inkling on how much a good campsite can make or break your vacation plans. Believe me, I have learned the hard way just how very important this is. So today, I'm giving you the top 5 mistakes people make when choosing their campsite, and most importantly, how you can avoid them. It is so good to be thinking about camping right now. We are locked down here in Ontario, and I've been home with my half a dozen children trying to help them through online schooling, and to add insult to injury, it is the dead of winter, so it's not like we can just go run around outside for hours on end to have some fun. I mean, I wish it was summer, not winter, if I'm honest. But the good news is, it is almost time to make our camping reservations for the summer season. Woohoo! Are you guys planning on camping this year? If so, let me know in the comments below. Where are you going? If you're new here, this channel is all about living on less, and yes, that does include our vacations. Travel is pricey, and camping is one of the ways that you can enjoy a spectacular, relaxing, and tranquil time without going into debt to do it. But man, how do you pick a good campsite? I have made some pretty massive mistakes in my camping career, and I'm hoping this video will help you out by learning from what I've done wrong so that you can do it right. So let's dive into some of those common mistakes. Mistake number 1, waiting too long to book your campsite. Okay, I know that sometimes we can't figure out until the last minute whether or not we even have vacation time, but I feel as though in the 21st century, this is pretty rare. A lot of places of employment, they want to know months and months in advance when you're taking a vacation. And a lot of careers, like being a teacher, for example, I mean, you know which weeks you're going to be on vacation. So to me, I think, why are people procrastinating? Why would you wait until the week before your vacation to look into where you're going to go? Plan this out way further in advance than you think you need to, and it's gonna make for a much more relaxing experience, let me tell you. Why is that? Because the best campsites book first. So you need to decide where you're gonna go camping and find out when the booking window opens for that campground. And then you're gonna be on that website or your phone or whatever it is to book your campsite the day it opens, so that you're not stuck the end of June calling around to 20 different campgrounds trying to find a place that has openings the week that you are on vacation. Mark your calendar. I've already marked my calendar with the dates that I need to go on and book our campsites, and get on there, get it done. It is worth getting up at 6 or 7 a.m. to get that prime spot. Trust me, it's worth it. Mistake number 2 is not scoping out the campsite options before you book one. Okay, so in Canada and in the US, a lot of websites will have a map of where all the campsites are in a campground, and so many people wait until the day of booking to go on there, and they just will click a random campsite to book. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Scope out what the good campsites are ahead of time. How are you going to do this? Well, if you camp at the same place year after year after year, then you probably know which areas are best for campsites, and I recommend bringing a camp journal with you wherever you go camping, and write down the name of the campground and the number of each site you think is a pretty ideal site that you'd like to stay at the next time you go. That way, when you're looking at booking, you can just get out your journal in the middle of winter and check on there what campsites are best, and it's super easy when you go to book. But what if you have never stayed at that campground before? What if it's a national park, a provincial park, a state park that's totally new to you, and you really have no sweet clue where the good sites are, which sites are the biggest, anything like that? Well, you can still scope those sites out. How? Virtually, of course. This is a little hack I think a lot of people don't know about, and that is that a number of our national parks are on Google Street View. So you can actually go on Google Street View, cruise around, and really look and see what each campsite looks like, how big it is, how close it is to the washrooms or the beach. I really do recommend checking and seeing if that campground has Google Street View. But even if it doesn't, most campgrounds offer something online, especially provincial or state parks, where you can go on ahead of time, check out their maps, click on each individual campsite, and it's going to have several pictures pictures of the campsite. It's going to tell you the size of it. It's going to tell you what type of soil there is on it. It's going to tell you how much shade there is. So there really is no excuse for you not to be able to scope out those sites, write down maybe your top 5 of what you would like to book, so that when the booking window opens, you've got that written down, boom, you're on, get that campsite you want. If it's already taken, then you've got several backup choices for what you're gonna book. One of my favorite tools is campsite review websites like this one right here. And you can go on and people will leave comments, maybe paragraphs, about particular numbered campsites. So this is something that is really cool when you're doing your research. It's also something to participate in yourself. When you've camped somewhere, if you get a really crappy campsite or a really wonderful one, go on those campsite review sites and post what you think. Mistake number 3 in trying to pick that good campsite is choosing the wrong type of site. Okay, this is important, y'all. If you have a trailer, you're going to probably need an electric site. If you don't like a lot of noise, you like things quiet and calm, you probably want to book a radio-free site, which is just kind of a term for the area in a campground that probably doesn't have electricity and has a ban on playing music and noise loud late at night. If you are a tent camper, a dirt-packed campsite is so much better than gravel. Okay, this is definitely one where my husband and I have learned from experience. It usually happens when we're camping with other people that have trailers, so we're kind of forced to have a site to be near them that is a gravel base. But it is so hard to put tent pegs down on a rocky site. It is really annoying. We've bent so many tent pegs this way, and we much prefer as tent campers to have a dirt-packed site. It's so much easier for setup, it's so much easier for takedown, and it just makes for a comfier spot to sleep as well at night if you're sleeping in a sleeping bag. Obviously, the opposite is true for if you have a trailer and you're camping. You're going to want to read the fine print of those campsites and make sure that you have gravel, maybe a paved slab is important to you. Make sure you book the right type of site. Also, this is another instance where size matters, people. Our family has a ginormous tent to fit all of our children, and it definitely takes up the space of about 2 regular sized tents. We also have a really big van, and we tend to park on our campsite because all of our food and everything is stored in our vehicle. So when I'm booking a campsite, I'm not going to book one that is ideal for someone with a single tent. I'm going to try to find a campsite that will fit 2 or 3 tents easily, because that way I know I have room for Old Yeller, I have room for my dining tent, and we have room to park our vehicle. So make sure you find out the dimensions of your site. If you have a tent or a trailer, make sure you know the dimensions of your tent or trailer so you know whether it's going to fit or not. Mistake number 4 is choosing the wrong location within the campground. So maybe you've scoped out and you think you've picked the perfect site. It's humongo, it looks like it's very private and quiet. Awesome. Then you get to the campground and you realize you're literally a mile away from the closest flush toilets, or you have to get in your vehicle and drive to the beach. You're so far away from it. It's really important that you look at the broader map of a campground when you're booking your campsite. In Ontario, I love to see on their map that little key picture that means comfort station. It looks like a washing machine or a house or something. And I love to see that because I know if there's a comfort station near where I'm camping, that means there are flush toilets, electricity, laundry facilities, and showers. I really do not love using vault toilets. Personal story time with Jen. Last summer, which was kind of at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we made literally all the mistakes that I'm listing in this video. Why? Because COVID happened and the campground we were going to stay in was closed down. So we had to last minute scramble to find somewhere else to stay, which is totally fine, except that a lot of the good campsites were gone, and when we booked ours, they were a little too close to comfort to the vault toilets. If you don't know what a vault toilet is, it's basically a glorified porta potty. It doesn't have flush toilets, they don't have electricity, so try using one of those in the night with a flashlight. Try camping near one, maybe downwind from one, and see how it feels to you. So you really want to pay attention when you are looking at the broader map for camping that maybe you're not right by the porta potties. Maybe you don't want to be right by the comfort station either. I camped with someone once who said they were up all night annoyed because they kept hearing the hand dryers at the comfort station, and we were actually camping too close to the comfort station for them. Too close for comfort. So you want to know yourself, you want to know what you prefer. If you're a swimmer, you want to spend a lot of time at the beach, pick that site that is within walking distance from the beach. If you're a hiker, a biker, and you want to try out that awesome trail that is right close to this campground, make sure your campsite's near that trailhead. If you have little kids, probably being close to the playground is going to be helpful for you. I have loved when we have camped right literally beside the playground because I can be cooking dinner and watching my kids at the playground while I'm doing so, and it just makes for a much more relaxing vacation for all of us. So recreation definitely comes into play when you are choosing location, but some of you I know are introverts and some of you really like somewhere that is peaceful and quiet. Maybe somewhere that is a non-electric site way out in the boonies where you can look up at the stars. So know yourself, know what you're looking for in this vacation, and think ahead to where you want to be on that campground. Before I get to my last tip, did you know that I have an entire camping playlist? I go into all sorts of topics from cooking to gear to campsite reviews. So I will link that for you down below here and up here if when you're done this video, you'd like to check it out and get some more tips. Also, pop that like button if you're liking this content, friends. It really helps me and the channel out. I always leave the best for last, and I think mistake number 5 is a biggie that we all need to think about, and that is the mistake of being afraid to try something new. I find this very common among my friends and acquaintances who are campers, and that is this: they literally go to the same campground year after year after year after year. They never branch out, they do the same thing, they park their trailer at the same spot, and they never go anywhere else. I am always shocked to hear of a veteran camper who has never ever camped at a provincial, a national, or a state park. And I think they're totally missing out. Personal story, I used to think that I hated camping. Like if you were to ask me, I would have been like, I hate camping, I'm not doing it. But I discovered along the way that the reason I hated camping is because I had only ever stayed at trailer parks, private campgrounds, places that, I mean, to be honest, you were just kind of there to sit around the fire and drink some beer with your friends, but it wasn't anything to write home about. I mean, you were literally doing the same thing you would be doing at home in your backyard. You were just sitting outside of a trailer. I hated it. And then some family members introduced me to how incredible our provincial parks here are in Ontario. And I was just, I can't even tell you what a life-changing thing this was for me. And since I started branching out and trying new things, we tried more and more provincial parks. We tried more and more national parks. We went to the United States and tried some of their national parks out. And I mean, the things that we have seen as a family, there is no private campground that can compare to Yellowstone National Park. I'm sorry, people, there's nothing. There is nothing like canoeing in Algonquin Park in Ontario and camping on an island. I mean, there's nothing like it, and it's not expensive. It's cheaper than private campgrounds. Just the feeling I got, I mean, the first time we went to Bon Echo Provincial Park here in Ontario, and I saw the cliff face and the indigenous paintings on the rocks, and we camped in kind of like the Misty Pines area. There's nothing like it. It was like a whole new world had been opened up to me. And trust me, I'm someone who doesn't like change. I'm someone who does not like to try new things. I'm a creature of habit. So it was really tough for me to get out of my comfort zone and try some of these places out. But boy, am I thankful that I did. So if you are like I used to be, and you are afraid to try something new, and you're maybe feeling stuck in a rut, like we always go to the same places with the same people, give it a try. Get online, get researching some beautiful places to go, and again, it's a cheap vacation. I mean, you go to a national park, you're paying like 35 bucks a night for a site. Provincial park, maybe $40 a night. If you go into the United States, their national parks, some of their national parks, it's $20 a night. Some of their national parks, it's free to camp for the night. There are so many incredible places that you could be seeing, and if you make the mistake of being too afraid to try, you're going to miss out on some really wonderful experiences and memories that you could be making. And location aside with camping, I think being afraid to try something new can also include the way you camp. So a lot of people are really stuck on trailer parking, but that is pretty limited. You can only take trailers or pop-up trailers into certain places that will have room for it. And there are a good many parks and campgrounds that are tent only, or that you have to canoe in or hike in, so you really can't bring a trailer. You have to bring whatever is on your back. And if you've never tried that and you've always done a trailer, I think it's really cool to try something new. When I did that, I discovered that I like tent camping better than trailer camping. That may change when I'm older, I don't know. Maybe it's something when you're a little younger and more adventurous to take advantage of, but I did discover that I preferred it. I feel like when I'm in a tent, the air is fresher. I just feel more rejuvenated. I feel like I'm in nature and it's quiet. I don't know. I just like it better. But everyone's different. Or maybe you've only tent camped and you absolutely hate it and you have never tried trailer camping. Well, maybe you should try it and see if that will help you like camping more. So have you made any of these 5 mistakes? Do you have any personal stories you can tell us below? Or maybe you have some mistakes to add to the list that you think I forgot. Let us all know. Here are some of my other camp videos to the side, so check those out. Let's keep this watch party going, and I will see you all in the next video. For the least, this is Jen.